How's it? Today is Wednesday, January 31st. It's the third day in a new block. It's also the last day of January, which is crazy to think that, one whole month has already gone by of the new year. But today was clean and jerk stuff. I talked with my coach this morning because yesterday was so bad. We wanted to make sure a couple things were straight. His overall goal for me was to feel good for more of the time than feeling bad. So that is really what drove today. And I guess today was just, it was a good day. It was a good day of work that I put in. I'm very happy with how things went. I'm super light. You can see that, right? 3 to 5 sets of 3 plus 1 at 90. He said, if things are not feeling good, just move on. And I feel like I've gained a lot of maturity in the last couple months when things are feeling bad that I end up do moving. I end up do moving. That doesn't sound right. I end up moving on when I think it is necessary. I think that I still have that idea in my head that I can still push very hard and try to get to the weights that I want to hit and be a little bit stubborn about that. And that's not always a good thing to have, but I think there is a fine line between any amount of challenge is enough to say, nope, I'm moving on, or um, the exact opposite of that. It's like, oh, I'm going to keep trying no matter what, right? So, like, there's that first thing where you give up at the first sign of adversity. Um, that's not good because you end up becoming very lazy, and I don't want that to ever happen. I don't ever want to be able to like skip out on stuff because it is difficult. If I'm unable to do something, or if I'm unhealthy, or if it's dangerous, then that's something that is totally different. But for me, it's just a fine line. As far as today's cleans go, clean and jerk, full cleans for 3 reps, and then one split jerk. These were pretty good. I think the issue that I was facing 2 weeks ago when my shoulder was really, really hurting was I didn't feel like I was able to get the bar in a good spot on my shoulders with the clean. Like, even when I was executing, quote unquote, better than, like on the better reps, I guess I would say, um, some of the placement on my shoulder just didn't feel great. Today felt awesome. Today was me moving in the right direction. Like, I always say that, but it is very true, If, as long as I'm not getting worse, I'm getting better. Because I'm learning more. I'm getting more volume on my lifts. I'm getting more experience. I'm having, struggles with perspectives and all these things. These things are gonna improve the way that I lift. It's a really like almost nebulous way of thinking about it, but they definitely do help. Here's my first set, my top set at 90. Steve actually said to do sets at between 90 and 95. He's like, make sure that it doesn't hurt though. And so he said that the weight on the bar doesn't really matter. As long as like it's feeling good, then we can always build from there. So that's something that I was really focused on today. That also dictated whether or not I would do 3, 4, or 5 sets. So I ended up doing 4 sets because the first 3 sets felt good. My shoulder felt good for all of these. And it's honestly crazy to think because last week when I was doing my powers at, what is it, 80? No, it was 90. I think it was 90. When I was doing my powers at 90, it was just like a little bit painful on the jerk. And today was not quite night and day, but very different. And I do think that is due to me doing more T-spine mobility stuff. I know I videoed some of it yesterday, but I've been doing it, I think, at least before I lift. I've been doing it a little bit after I lift, and then also before I go to sleep. So it has been helping tremendously. And I started doing it, I think, Sunday? Because Sunday was the day I went to Top Golf. And I was like, uh-oh, I need to go and make sure that things are okay. for Monday. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking at all of these lifts and a lot of these positions where that bar feels like it's slightly out in front on my shoulder, on the right shoulder. These positions were positions that would have hurt it in the past. And either I'm not really getting there anymore or it's just not as painful. And both of those two things are really good signs. So that's my third set here. And then that fourth one was the first one where I felt a little twinge of uncomfortability, a little bit of pain in my shoulder. So I was like, all right, I'm not going to do a fifth set. And that is me teetering on that line of being overzealous and um, conservative. Is that the word? I think that is the word. After that, I did some weird stuff. I did some panda pulls, which I absolutely hate, and I did some clean deadlifts. I talked with my coach about this quite a bit because he asked me like how I feel about clean pulls and how I feel about panda pulls in general, and I was like, honestly, they are so far away from how I normally lift that I don't feel like I get a lot out of them in general. So watch this. This looks so silly. Look, I'm just really like, what is going on? Like, that's not. I mean, it's so light, but I don't feel like I'm executing properly. And maybe I am. Maybe now that I'm looking at that side angle, maybe it looks a little bit better than it felt. And it definitely does from this angle right here. So the goal was to just do a couple sets. So 3 sets of 3, go up with every weight. Again, like the weight itself on the bar doesn't matter as long as my shoulder and everything else is feeling good, you know. So same thing after that. I actually moved into some clean deadlifts, which is really what I've been really focusing on a lot more for the pulls, you know, for the last couple years. And when I said that to my coach, he is like, "Oh, I don't know if I ever told you that, but that's the exact reason why I don't do pulls in clean pulls in his personal training because it's not the same. Like when you get to the top of a clean pull, the force that you can put onto the bar is it might be the same as it would be for a regular clean, but it's a lot longer. Like the length of the pull is a lot longer than it would normally be for a actual clean. And so when you think about how those two things work, if you get too far away from the movement itself, like movement specificity wise, you're not actually helping yourself. You might be hurting yourself because it is far enough away from the actual movement pattern that you're trying to train in the lift that it's different, or at least the application of power is different in that position and the speed itself is different. And so like, are you wasting your time doing that? Like maybe coordination wise, maybe, you know. After my pull movements, my posterior chain movements, I'll say, I was tasked with doing some overhead press things. He said only do it if it feels okay, and he said like maybe even start at 30, and then maybe go to 40. But you see here that this 30 was pretty good. Like a couple weeks ago when I was doing press, I guess even last week when I was doing press, the shoulder was painful like throughout the whole movement. I was doing 40, I believe, and like today here's 40. I did 5 sets of 5. This is a very easy weight to press. I'm much stronger than the press on this. I've pressed 81 kilos before. Like that's the most I've ever pressed. So like 40 is nothing. But 40 also produced pain last week. So today no pain was, again, it's really good. Like I feel like I'm moving in the right direction. That should probably just be my motto, is moving in the right direction. After that, I finished off with my ab movements. Here is just the Palloff press, which I didn't do on Monday because Topgolf wrecked me. So I did them today. And normally Wednesdays I do my GHD sit-ups, but I did those on Monday instead. So it just is a swappable, hot swappable items. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today. I am very happy with how today went. I feel like I am gaining a lot of progress for my shoulder. So Thank you for watching. Shoots.